welcome back. Today, got a video for you. New part has arrived from NRC, which is New Rage Cycles. These are new flush mounted turn signals for the 2020 Ducati Monster 821 that I have. So let's go ahead and open these up and check them out. All right, so these turn signals go right over the fork on the motorcycle, and then they just give you a nice flush mounted LED look to get rid of like those bug eyes that stick out on the sides. And what's nice is it looks like they've actually already put on the wiring harness for these two, which is new from my understanding, is previously that was not part of already on these. So that'll help out. What else do we get on there? We get some spacers. In the kit, we get looks like a piece of heat shrink for wiring heat shrink, and some zip ties and things like that to hold those wires back and make sure they're out of sight. And then a little link to some installation help on their website. So pretty small box. We'll see how we can get these guys on and go through the installation video here. All right, so excuse the mess in the back, but what we're gonna do here is look at these are obviously the stock turn signals here. So if we go ahead and see what those look like, just to give us a little before and after, and then we can put the hazards on also. So what we're going to be doing is removing these pieces. And if we kind of zoom in a little bit here, give you a better look. This whole piece comes all the way around the fork here, and in the back, there's an Allen wrench. It's like a 5mm Allen wrench hidden back here. So we're loosening that up, pop this piece off, and then the wire. All right, so we've been able to loosen it up enough that we can kind of turn it around here, and then I can get a longer Allen wrench into this space, and we'll loosen this guy up and pop it off. One thing you may have noticed is that I always put something around the bike here whenever I'm working this close to the tank. Last thing you want to do is spin this the wrong way, bump into your tank. That is going to be a quick way to ruin your day. So let me move this. So the way this works, this wire here, let me get it a little closer, goes underneath this piece. Once you loosen that up, that obviously pops out, and we should be able to pop this off. All right, so what we have to do is take off the headlight to get to the wiring harness. And to get to the headlight, there is a 10mm hex nut there and one on the other side. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pop those off, and then pop the headlight off. It actually just wiggles, pops right off, and then get to the wiring harness. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, so got that piece out, okay? Out of the bottom of this is the piece, that's that wire that goes to the turn signal. It's in kind of this rubber gasket that holds all these connections in place. Go ahead and I pop that guy in there, and then if we go ahead and test it, turn the battery on here. And ta-da, magic. So that's great that I don't even have to splice any wires or anything for this. It just connects right away. So what now I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pop these off, try to get them into this piece, and then run this wire over, snap it into place. So let's go ahead and do that now. Before we tighten these up, I want to get this onto this fork, and I will show you this because it kind of surprised me just how much force it takes to get these on. You gotta kind of work at it, stretch it. It took me a little while on the last one, and I do it before I put the headlight back on because the fork's actually a little bit narrower here than it is at the very bottom. So what I'm gonna do is kind of come up here where it's narrow and just kind of work at that. And like I said, it took me a couple minutes on the first one to get that on. It feels like it's gonna snap, which is obviously the last thing you wanna do when we're finishing up a project, is have to go back and put everything else back together. There we go. Snap that on, and then what we'll do, work it down. So there, where we want it, and we're good to go. All right, so got those wires buttoned up. I ended up just using one of the zip ties that came. With the kit. Made my life a little bit easier. So, just one last time before we button everything up. Make sure that these work. It's great. So, headlight comes down into these pieces here. There's a bracket that we need to make sure is lined up on this side. See those wires up there. And that kind of holds all those wires and that harness all in place. All right, let's give them a final look now that everything's complete. Right. Left. And hazards. Nice. All right, so thanks for tuning in for that one. Actually, not too bad of a project once I knew what I was doing. I wasn't sure if I was gonna have to take the headlight off for that one or not. There were no directions on the website for the 821 Monster doing these. So I watched some other videos on removing the headlight and things like that because I wanted to see if I was able to get to that wiring harness without having to cut the wire, splice it, and use the heat shrink that came in the bag from New Rage Cycles. Now, what tools did I need to do this project? I needed a 10mm socket to get the nuts off the back of the headlight. To get to that, I used a little hex extender for the ratchet, and that helped me. I used a 5mm Allen wrench to get the headlight Allen nut off. I used some small pliers. I used a larger set of needle nose pliers also, and a wrench just to turn that little extender piece because it was just really tight quarters there behind the headlight. That's it that I used for this project. I also used a longer 5mm Allen at the very beginning. So that's all it took to do this project. Knowing now that I need to remove the headlight, I kind of stopped in between, did a little bit more research and things like that to just make sure I was taking the right things off and not messing anything else up. I'd say a 30-minute project all said and done to get this complete and taken care of. I have to say it makes that front look a lot sleeker. So we finally gotten the bug eyes off the front of the Monster and sleeked that up a little bit, which is great. So thanks again for watching. Obviously this is another installment on the motorcycle front. We'll get back to some of the other content soon. Hopefully get some more custom pieces on this thing as time goes on, and we'll keep the videos coming if you like them. So thank you very much. Hit the like button, hit subscribe, leave us a comment on what we could maybe do next on this thing. Thanks, bye.